Hey guys, Melese here from GitLens and GitKraken. So in this GitKon session, the time capsule code history deciphered with GitLens, we're gonna meet two fascinating people that use GitLens. Chuck Dries, software engineer at Adobe, who uses GitLens both at work and for his personal passion projects, which we'll get to see an awesome one of today. And Keith Dalton, principal software engineer at GitLens, who's directly involved in the development of the GitLens software itself.
Thanks. My name is Chuck. I'm a software engineer at Adobe. I work on Marketo. And I honestly don't know if I would call myself a GitLens power user quite yet, but I definitely rely on it.
Right. And I'm Keith Dalton, principal software engineer at GitKraken, work on GitLens for VS Code.
Cool. Why don't you show us some of your workflows? Yeah.
Yeah. So unfortunately, I can't show you the code that I use at work. So I'm just going to talk through a little bit of what I like to do. So Marketo is a very old product. A lot of Adobe's products are. And there's a lot of wisdom in the Git history of our current repo. And there's a lot of wisdom in the Git history, which was migrated from SVN of the old repo. If you've never seen Marketo before, it's actually a hybrid of a PHP application that gets displayed inside an iframe inside of a React application. So we've got about 6 years of history in the React code base, and we've got even more history in the PHP code base. So instead, I will be showing off what I like to do with buzzwords.
Pop that open. Let's see it.
Awesome.
Yeah. So this is, I use the desktop client, but my analytics tell me the vast majority of users just play it in a browser, which is A-okay. This is buzzwords. And the basic gist is you have territory colored pink or green. I'm pink. You're always pink versus a computer, but there's also multiplayer. So you capture territory by playing words. Let's quickly find a word. Let's see if I can spell dilutes. And then the AI opponent will play a word and capture some territory back. Omening.
Nice.
So this is the game. And it's all React. And the 3D animations, let's see if the... so when you like load into a game and they all flip over and that sort of thing, or when you submit a move and they flip horizontally, that's the code I was examining earlier. It's this use effect that is just, there's a concept called a spring is how I handle rotations in this code. And basically we're just rotating x math.pi times 2, or starting it to 0, and then the spring itself gets read every frame. Here we go. Rotate spring.y.get, rotate spring.x.get. I got to do some math, normalize the vector, set rotation from axis angle inside of a use frame. So I think the thing that's kind of interesting about this project is applying the React programming model to the 3D world. Because even though this is, it's a board on 2-dimension, these tiles are 3D meshes. The lettering is 3D. I think the homepage still has, so you can actually like rotate the...
Oh, wow. That's pretty neat.
Which is just neat. It's just fun. Yeah, you can also rotate the B.
Why play the game? I'll just sit on the home menu and play with the icons there.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, I could have done this entirely in SVG or something, but I kind of wanted that extra visual flair. I'm using a package called React 3 Fiber. I guess I should have mentioned that earlier. So that's what's giving me these mesh text geometry and group primitives in my React components that I can play with. Because normally React is div, it's button, it's H1. But React 3 Fiber gives you primitives for 3D rendering. And then it all gets tied together in the canvas component, where we render a canvas element, and that's what renders the 3D content in the 2D world.
Got it. Wow.
Yeah.
Impressive.
That's incredible.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. So let's see if I have my dev tools enabled. Oh, they're all it's minimized. Let me cd client yarn. It's been so long since I've run it. Yarn dev. There we go. Let's see if this works. Yeah, I can just show you. So the component, if I go down to this canvas, we've got our, oh, I remember. The React Dev Tools don't, here we go. So here we've got our hex letter, and the actual, the component here is kind of complicated for a React component. There's a lot of hook calls. The actual render is pretty straightforward. We render an animated group, we render a mesh, we render a group, and we render the tile. And all the tile is the mesh, is the hexagonal mesh. So all that is to say, we've got our hex letter, we've got our letters here. These are these letters. And then if we change, for example, the letter to be X, you can see it changed to Wex come. So this is just to show that these are React components like any other.
Wow.
And then we've got that hex tile in there. But where this comes in handy is the code I was looking through earlier was this animation code. This auto spin prop is what allows it to, if you just like look at it, it all spins in and then they kind of flip randomly over and over. That's this math.random right here. So if I wanted to inspect what that, it used to be that all tiles did that, but I realized I didn't want game tiles to do it. So I added an auto spin flag to prevent tiles from randomly flipping during the game.
Awesome.
With GitLens is I can show when that feature was introduced, and then I can also show when I first attempted to write this animation code, it was quite different. Let's see, where did I first introduce it though? There it is. No, it's not. When did I first introduce it? There it is. This is the type of spelunking I do on my work repo though. See, this was just a refactor. Here we go. Here's when I actually introduced the random spinning. So yeah.
Wow.
That's cool.
Look at that. It's a time capsule through GitLens.
Sure is. Yeah.
Exactly. One other thing, you were trying to trace that one line. Like maybe the line history could have given you the deep dive on that one. Unless it moved
that's
around
a good question. Let's find out. All right. So our line history, we've got the auto spin added. We've got some kind of, I don't know what this, I'd have to think harder about what this code does. But random flips. Oh my gosh, you're right. That's literally what the commit message was. Random flips 2 years ago. That would have jumped me right there. It would have deprived us of the experience of going one at a time. But you're absolutely right. The line history nailed it.
But a lot of times, though, things do jump around a lot. So maybe the line doesn't necessarily help. So definitely, the workflow you went through of going through the hover and clicking through there is also a pretty viable way to jump around as well. So there's definitely more than one way to fit different folks' work styles, and going through the hover will definitely keep you more in context of where your cursor is and things like that, as opposed to looking over to your side panel. But it's just a matter of, the personal taste and how you more optimally, what suits your workflow best. So part of the intent, right? So,
Yeah. And that's why I do really like the inline, the blame to the side. thing. It lets me see what chunks of code were modified together, which can sometimes be informative, or at least inform me when looking through what I'm looking for. Although this has never been a drop down before. That's brand new to me. Toggle file heat map.
That one's been there. Yeah, it's
that
tucked
new?
away.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a little hidden up there. Yeah.
Yeah, so if you just click the icon versus like, yeah.
Oh, I see. Cool.
Yeah, the file changes. The heat map actually is pretty neat too because it goes from hot to cold, right? Keith, it goes the
Yes.
least active stuff to the most active, color coordinated. Yeah.
Yeah, so you can see what's changed the most frequently in your file. Yeah, it's a pretty rad little view.
Let's see. I'm less familiar with this repo, but it's a much larger repo, so maybe it'll have a more interesting heat map.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Interesting.
And if you click on the diff, yep, you can get the inline blame still.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, the whole workflow that I had come up with, the entire workflow that I had come up with was entirely dependent on the fact that y'all show the blame on the left side in the diff view, on the left side and the right side, and so I like blame anywhere and everywhere. I'm a fan. That was the worst possible thing I could have clicked on for this demonstration. Let's see. Is this any good? I'm just clicking around at this point. No. Let's see. This one must be because it's got a heat map. It must be good. And it is. Huzzah. Yeah. So personally, all these features are awesome. I'm still really liking. I like seeing the changes step by step by step as we go through, jumping through these left side, right side changes. Ooh, big change. Default selected keys. I was looking for. I don't know. I'm just reading. This is not a repo I work in regularly, but it's a public repo, so it's one I'm allowed to show you. I was just hoping this would give us more meat to deal with. Let's take a look at this graph. Oh, it looks like oh yeah, that's a graph, all right.
Oh wow,
that's a big one.
Love to see it. What is this graph at the top?
So this gives you a larger peering into what the graph gives you. So you can see like the highlighted portions on there is the commits that you have in view. And this is a timeline, a larger timeline, and then you can like jump through the history into big chunks if you know how far you want to jump around, and you can see you can enable things like seeing different tags and branches and indicators on there as well.
Yeah, we call it the mini map, activity mini map.
Yeah.
Cool. Oh, and it lazy loads as I scroll down. Very cool.
Yeah, the graph will keep infinite loading as you go as well. So
nice. Oh, it got wider.
Similar to what you see on the top, we have on the right side we have some indicators in the scroll bar region.
What are those?
So those indicate different branches and tags, and
all right, so that's what I have checked out.
Things like that.
And that's what I have selected. And that's the top or something.
Yeah. So you can click the gear up above that. And so you can have different scroll markers. You can show more or less things.
I don't have anything. Cool.
Yeah, and then you also have the changes column too in there that shows how many changes were made exactly on that commit right there. Yep. Yeah, right there.
Yeah, that one
Let's
has a
make this
file as an
little-
icon. Yep.
Gotcha. Looks like someone added a bunch of stuff to the file trigger documentation on this commit. Cool.
All right. Thanks, Chuck, for showcasing that to us. That was amazing. And Keith, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you all watching this. If you're watching this at home on YouTube in the future, or if you're watching this live right now, we thank you for joining us. And we will see you all in the next session. Thanks so much.